Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're talking about your content today. Is content the thorn that's poking holes in your marketing plan? What do I mean by that? What I mean is creating content and the lack thereof, rather, is that what is hindering you from connecting with others that are possibly clients, possibly prospects for your business? Is it stopping you from going out there and networking with other business owners that you could possibly collaborate with that could send you referrals your way? Is it stopping you from getting your content, as in your story, out there, so that you can actually connect authentically with a audience that is dialed into what you're trying to promote, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to serve through? So my name is Nilu Kamis. For those of you who are new, let me know who you are in the comments and where you're tuning in from. For those of you who are watching the replay, let me know you caught the replay by typing in hashtag replay in the bottom. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for people to trickle in, but in the meantime, um, I just want to give you a little bit of background about me. Excuse me. I am a marketing consultant. I help small business owners really get focused on how they can connect with their ideal customers on an online platform. So, predominantly on Facebook. However, there are other strategies that I teach as well. But in a nutshell, that is what I do. I've been running this consulting business for the last 4 years, and it's been a journey of its own. And this is a topic, this content block, or the lack of putting content out there, is actually something that I've experienced in my own business. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it because I have been struggling with that in the past myself, and it's helped me to I'm at a point where I can actually reflect back and say, oh, wow, these are the things that were happening in my business that were not working. And so I'm bringing that knowledge and experience to you guys. So, welcome. I'm just going to double check here really quick that I am streaming this live into my community. Um, so if you're new to me and if you'd like to connect more, once you watch this live, I do have a Facebook community. It's called Facebook Group Growth and Sales for Tribe Builders. My specialization is community management and community building. That is an area that I'm really passionate about, and that's one of the core elements of my training and coaching. I help women entrepreneurs really bring that nurturing, the natural nurturing, motherly instincts that we are blessed with as women, and really help you grow a community of supporters, fans, clients that support the growth of your business, as well as your own journey. Right? We all go through these periods of chaos in our life. Right now it seems like it's a never-ending period of chaos with everything that's going on around the world, and we need that community structure. We need that support to help us get through some of the toughest times that we face in our lives and in our business. So, building communities that really resonate with your ideal customer can help you connect with them at a deeper level, can help you launch your programs without struggling and feeling like you have to just, completely turn your life upside down and market. That's not my personality. I don't like the salesy, pushy attitude of trying to convince somebody that they need something. Selling for me is something that is it comes from a place of service, and it's really positioning the information in front of my clients our clients, let's say, to make the decision that is right for them. It's not something where you need to push them and you need to try and sell hard in order to get them to buy from you. That's not something that I teach. That's not something I promote. If you're doing it right, if you are connecting authentically, if you're positioning your content in the right order so that your customers, your prospects can actually understand, wow, this is something that I really need right now, or this is something that's going to transform, the journey that I'm on. Whatever journey that is, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a mompreneur, whether you're a housewife, whether you're a gardener, whether you're passionate about creating an impact in the world, however that is, if you can convince them by positioning your content in front of them and really getting to know them and understanding what their need is and giving them exactly what they're looking for, that is really what selling involves. So let's dive in. Let's dive in and talk about content, which is really the topic today. So, one of the things that I know myself and a lot of my clients, as well as, excuse me, people in my community have struggled with in the past, and currently as well, is the fact that, we've been told that we have to share our story, we have to get authentic, we have to create content and push it out there, push it out there. You know, One thing is, it's not as easy. It's not as easy for us, somebody who does not understand or is not familiar with the practice of connecting or creating those connections online, to just go out there and just, post everything about themselves all over the internet, right? Or all over social media. It's not natural, it's not intuitive, and sometimes it might just be the fact that you're stuck in a place where you don't really know where to start. How do you start? Okay, so I can put a bio together and share, who I am and what I can give to my ideal customers and so on and so forth. Then what? Are we going to just talk about that every time we post, right? So, what kind of content should I be posting? That is one big question that I get asked all of the time. What should I be posting? Where should I be posting it? How often should I be posting it? And how do I get these people that are actually reading my stuff to congregate in one place so that they can keep continuing to see my content over and over again? So there's lots of different strategies that you can follow in terms of, where, when, and how, right? So I'm not going to touch on all of those. I do want to keep this really, really simple. This live really simple for you, in that I want you to take away some tips that you can implement with what you're having to do right now. So here's my strategy. Here's how I do it. So and this is something that I actually teach in my workshops and in my training, in my coaching groups. The first thing you need to do is you need to understand who your customer is. Okay, this is really important, guys. You may have heard this 100,000 times other places. If you understand who your customer is, this process becomes a whole lot better. Now, if you don't know who your customer is and you're brand new and you don't know what they're struggling with, then the first thing you need to do is you need to go out there and start talking to people. It's like this vicious cycle, right? I need to talk to people, I need to create content in order to connect with people, and how do I do that? So the first thing you need to do is you need to come up with a theme. A theme of, number one, what are you going to be providing? So you need to decide what you're going to be providing, obviously. And then based on that, you are going to have to create a theme for every single week of content planning. Okay. So how do we do that? Ideally, you want to connect the theme to something that you're going to be promoting. Okay. Now, again, if you're brand new, You might not have anything to promote. Maybe you don't have a product or service that you want to sell, or you don't know what you want to sell because you have this toolbox of skills and experience that you can pull out from, and you want to sell it all. How do you pick a theme then? Pick the one that you love the most. Start there and then figure out if people resonate with that, if that's a need that you can fulfill for the type of customers that you're trying to attract. Okay, so for me, that was connecting with women who were struggling to market their services online. They were doing they were doing reasonably well on a brick and mortar scale, where they had a physical business. They had connections. They were doing networking connections on in person. They were building relationships in that sense, but they didn't know how to do this on a virtual platform, right? So this stuff is pre-COVID, guys. This is not something that's like happening right now that I'm explaining, right? So when I went out there, I started connecting on other groups. I started putting my content, my posts out there on different Facebook groups. And that's how I started connecting with people that resonated with what I was selling. So, in order to create that content, though, I started with picking a theme of, okay, so this week I'm going to be talking about content creation. Next week, I'm going to be talking about community building. The week after that, I'm going to be talking about, sales funnels. The week after that, I'm going to be talking about some other topic. So, to create that strategy, guys, you do need to have an idea of what you're going to be doing in the next, 6 to 8 weeks ish. If you have a plan for longer, that's great. But with new businesses, it's sort of hard to plan more than 6 to 8 weeks in advance, because you're still trying to gather intel and information about your ideal customers. You're trying to gather information about, what is the best product and service you can design to create the most effective transformation for your clients, right? So it's harder to do it if you're a new business. But if you're an established business, you should be actually making plans, and you should have a strategy on what you're going to be doing within the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, that means your calendar has to show a plan. It doesn't have to be concrete, and things can change. We all know that life happens, and we have to sometimes navigate and avoid the potholes and jump through hoops to get around just life events, right? So you should have a 3 to 6 month plan, ideally, if not for the whole year, and have a good idea of when certain programs that you're running, certain services that you're offering are going to be laid out on your calendar. Does that make sense? So, for example, I know in the next 3 months exactly what programs I'm going to be promoting. So, next week, we're launching the Build a Thriving Community course, which is a 4-week program that helps people create the foundation for their Facebook communities, so that then the next step would be how to monetize that group. So we focus on creating a really strong foundation, getting members in, and then slowly growing that community. And then the next step is, okay, now that I have a community of people, how do I bring in money from that? How do I make it my worth my time to be able to sustain the time that I'm putting into grow this community, to maintain this community by getting clients through this group. So it's a step-by-step process. So like I said, I have an idea of when those programs are going to be scheduled out, so that I can create my content accordingly, right? So picking the theme is really excuse me, you're going to be able to pick the themes based on what's going on in your business. Okay, now having said that, having said that, I want you to also understand that sometimes when you're sharing content, you also want to be aware of the level of information you're giving. So, what I mean by that is if you're trying to connect with clients that already understand what they need, because sometimes you come across prospects that know exactly what the problem they have and what they need to solve that problem. But majority of the time, you come across prospects that sort of understand what the problem is, but what they really know is the symptom of the problem. They That's what they're explaining to you. They're not really explaining the problem to you. They're explaining the symptom or a symptom of the problem that they have that you can solve. So how do you then bridge that gap of, okay, this is what I see that you need, not this? How do you give that to them without making them feel like you're pushing your services on them, right? So that's where coming up with a strategy for the type of content that you're going to put out is really going to be beneficial. So I call this awareness content, creating awareness, right? And this is something, if you've learned or listened to other marketing podcasts or other speakers talking about marketing, awareness is basically level 1 when you're trying to attract a customer, when you're trying to attract a prospect. They need to understand that what you're delivering is something that they need. And if they don't understand that they have a problem, then they're not even going to look at you as a solution provider for their problem, right? For their challenge. So, creating awareness level content is super important, especially when you're talking to a cold audience like this one that I'm doing. I'm doing it on my Facebook page. Some of you that are following me here are going to understand, okay, this is what Nilu does. And this is the type of help I can get from Nilu. But what about people that just stumble across this live and look at my video and don't understand exactly what I do? So, when you're creating content like this that's going out to the public, as opposed to content that goes out to your community who already know what you do and what you provide, you need to be creating awareness level content. So, going back to what I was saying, step number 1, you need to pick a theme of what you're going to be talking about. Number 2, you need to organize your schedule. Okay, organize your schedule so that you understand what you're going to be talking about, what you're going to be promoting, so that if there are people who need that help, who connect with your content, you have some place where they're going to be funneled to, where they're going to be led to. So if you don't have a product right now that you can sell, you can actually send them into a Facebook group where you're building a community of prospects, where you can get to learn from them exactly how and what they're going through, so you can give them the solution that they need, right? So a Facebook group is a great um, interim solution if you don't have a product that you can sell to the people that are seeing your content. The next thing is you want to create awareness level content, right? Like I talked about, it needs to be content that's talking about the basic stuff about what you're talking about. Okay, so for example, if you are a life coach, right, what are some of the main issues that you would like to help people through? Is it relationship issues? Is it issues with teenage kids? Is it personal development issues? Is it uh, is it focus related? So you can really drill down on some of those topics and create videos like this one to educate people about about how they can implement solutions that you give them to elevate them or to solve that problem. And then you're making a connection. And in between that, in between you're giving the solution, you need to also connect with them. You need to be authentic about who you are in these videos, because or it doesn't have to be video content, guys. There's so many other ways, which actually leads me to the next point. What kind of content should you be creating, right? So you need to be creating those pieces of content with the sort of authenticity that you want to be transparent about with your clients, right? Obviously, we all have personal lives that we don't want plastered all over the internet. I'm not saying like bear it all, but you do need to get very clear on what you're willing to share as part of your who you are, and how much of this information that you would want people to know about you, right? Because here's the thing, sharing our story is scary as it is, because we don't want that judgment, because we don't want people to look at us and say, oh wait, that doesn't make sense, or wait a second, this person has no integrity, or oh my god, they are so bad at doing live video. We don't want that, right? We want people to like us, and that's general for everybody. But if your message is not consistent, if you're saying one thing one day, another thing another day, if you're ranting on social media about something and you're saying, oh, I'm this person of, I'm this person who loves and cares about people, and then you're ranting about somebody on social media on the other side, you're conflicting the information that you're giving to your audience. So you really have to be careful in the message that you're giving to your audience about who you are and what you stand for, right? So those are some additional tips that I wasn't actually that are not on my notes on my screen right now. Okay. And then lastly, I want you to think about what types of content that you're comfortable with producing. Okay, so with my clients, I actually have a couple of different things that I ask them to focus on. I ask them, the first thing I ask them when they start working with me is they have to define one medium that they're comfortable with creating content. Are they really good at writing? Are they really good at making videos? Or are they really good at talking? What usually, and you don't have to be good at either one of these things on a social media platform. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you to really go within and think about, what am I comfortable doing the most? Whichever one you pick, you will still have to practice. This is not going to be like, oh, I'm going to pick writing because I really like writing, and it's going to like, you're going to start writing and you're going to start like getting followers like crazy. It doesn't happen that way. It does require consistent application. So you need to create content every single day. If you're new to this, I'm telling you this because out of all of the goodness of my heart, and if you're thinking, "Oh my god, I can't do that." I'm going to tell you, you can. It's not about setting aside 2 hours of your day to create content. It's about setting aside 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes to do your content. If you're starting with video, start with 5-minute videos. If you're starting with copy, start with 15 minutes of writing. If you're starting with audio, record 15 minutes of audio. Now, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, that 15 minutes, for me to create a 15 minutes piece of content, I'm gonna have to plan for an extra 15 minutes. So Nilu, you're not being truthful with me. I'm gonna be spending way more time because I'm gonna have to write it, I'm gonna have to plan it, write it, and publish it. True. You are gonna have to do that. So here's what I do, and this is personally what I do. I don't do those 3 things in one sitting. I do my planning ahead of time. Ideally, you want to batch create. You want to batch plan, okay? So that means you set a day off, either one day a week or one day a month, okay? If you're starting from scratch, don't overwhelm yourself trying to do one day a month. Start with one day a week. Every Sunday, sit down for an hour and write down, brainstorm ideas on what you're going to talk about that week. Okay, then you're going to create that content every single day. Ideally, you're creating the content ahead of time. So don't sit down and create today's content today. Create tomorrow's or the day after that, because there's a certain element of stress that's added when you're trying to create today's content, because you feel like, oh my God, I have to get this done. So your body and your mind and everything just freezes up, and it becomes a lot more complex for you to try and shift your energy through that. So I want you to really plan this out, sit down, 7 day, like pick a day of the week that you have the least amount of time and stress, or sorry, least amount of stress and the most amount of time that you can schedule this into. Plan the next 7 days of content and then start writing them out. So start your first post on Sunday, or your video or your audio, start it on Sunday. Then every single day, start putting time into creating it. What you're doing is you're building your muscle. It's a muscle, guys. It's a muscle to get into the habit of creating content. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. The better your language skills are going to get, the better the way you're communicating with your client is going to get, and the feedback that you're going to get from the people that are connecting with this pieces of content is going to be what's going to help you elevate that skill, what's going to help you improve that skill. Okay? And last tip, this is my last tip before I end this live, because I've already gone. I've got 3 more minutes to finish this. Okay, so last tip. If you are brand new and you're wondering, where do I start? Start on your personal page. Start on your personal page. Once you have about between 30 to 50 people consistently engaging in your posts, okay, move them over to a business page and then start posting on your business page. Because really, if you start doing it on your business page, I mean, you can do it on your business page. You can start right away from your business page. There's nothing wrong with that. You will, if you're looking for fast growth, it's not going to happen, because your business pages generally have very low organic reach. Okay, now there are strategies that you can use to change that. So if that's something that you'd like to learn, make sure once you stop watching this live, to head over to my Facebook group and join my group. It's called Facebook Group Growth and Sales for Tribe Builders. I know it's a mouthful. If you can't find it by search, if you scroll up on this page, there's a pinned post at the top of the news feed or the discussion tab. Okay. So there are other ways that you can improve the chances of getting your Facebook page out there and getting engagement on your page. But if you're brand new and if you're not consistent with your content, that is where I would suggest you start. Start with your personal profile, because most of the people that know you there are going to engage with you, because they're, if they're friends of yours, they're going to love you. They're going to start supporting you because you're sharing all this valuable stuff. Even if some of the people that are going to be connecting with you on that page, on your personal page, have nothing to do with what you're talking about. Maybe you're a business coach and the people that are commenting and engaging don't even have a business. But remember, It's not just also about creating connections for ideal customers. It's also about creating community, guys, a community of supporters that will help you grow your business. So that person that doesn't have a business, maybe they have friends that do online businesses, and they might refer them to you because they know you're talking value, you're talking, your stuff, right? Because you're putting that out there. Okay, so don't hold back. Don't think, oh, this is not the audience for this. I mean, I'm telling you this because I did that. I did that. I didn't want to post anything in my personal page because I thought most of my connections are personal connections. They're not going to get what I'm talking about. Guess what? Most of my clients now come through referrals because I share what I do with my personal connections. So, having said that, I'm going to end this live now. If you want to connect with me further, add me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. My name is Nilu Kamis. If I think I said that already, but just so you all know. Also, if you'd like to join our group and you can find it, send us direct message through the page, and we'll get you connected. We'd love to have you join us. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again same time next week right here on my business page, Nilu Kamis. Take care. Bye-bye.